Everybody knows been a long time coming. Still in the race like an athlete running. Still off the beat of the bars when I'm rapping. Proud to be African, who says what? Everybody knows I be J to the tourist. I didn't meant to be #1, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm not trying to be the bigger man. God gave me talent for me to be the better man. Y'all niggas don't understand. Arafat ghetto child with the best man. I got dreams making plans for the future man. Lindley still standing.
Music is truly the most sensational thing that any human can experience. The Namibian music industry has come a long way from pre-independence to post-independence and has grown tremendously. We're now going to take a closer look into the music industry through the eyes of the eagle Arafat and some of the greatest that have ever done it.
Before I was formed in my mother's womb, I already did music. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I was born with it.
When I met Arafat many years ago in Arandis, and I saw one young boy on the keyboard, so I asked my team, can you check after the meetings whose son is that?
I met him in the church. It's called Jesus Center in Okoriangava.
I found Arafat in the market of choir, changed the market of kwaito and hip hop.
No, 2005. Yeah, that's when I got to meet Arafat. He came to Radio Energy. We had done a show at Zoo Park for Ga Level. It was their first CD launch. And he said he liked the way I was DJing and whatnot.
He understands the music. He's one of the biggest renowned producer here in Namibia.
When people realize that the song is produced by Arafat, it gets a specific statue. Like, oh, if it's Arafat's work, then it should be perfect.
Arafat is the next guy. Like, he's the guy that we need to go to.
I recall and remember about the music in Namibia industry before independence. Music, mostly of the music that was dominating, it was Singura. We say Singura from Zimbabwe. I'm speaking from the background as a Ovambo-speaking person, because that's what my mothers and my forefathers used to listen in Ovamboland. So then from there it came South African music, Matanga music. For Brenda Fassie, and then you have Lucky Dube that came late, then you have Steve Kekana, and then you had Dolam Kids. There was now then reggae from Jamaica. And reggae was mostly about consciousness, but it was only few people who are more in politics were listening to conscious music like reggae music, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley. So those are the music we used to listen those years. When it comes now to contemporary music. In Namibia we had then Tatequela, we had Lexindo, so we had Fleur Mace from the south. Traditionally, our parents, when they are very happy, they used to have brides. They used to support each other, the communities. Your mother get a bride, then all the community will support. So there was always also the traditional dance, Ongama, Netenda Jandonga. So they used to dance when we were small kids in the house until midnight. So they were also playing those cultural music. And then liberation music came in again. So then people started to have also liberation songs when they come to stand on the drums. Standing on the drums, it was like a podium, what you call it, a stand, where people can speak, liberating the Namibian people. So then there were songs that were liberation songs. And then from there, Jackson Koyoa songs plays now a role in Kwela. Because they were more the two people who were singing about liberations in their vernacular languages, so that the Boers or the colonizer cannot hear what they were saying or cannot understand the message. That's the time when we used to sing now, our music. And there is when, then after that, the concert, then it comes choirs when you are in church, because then the influence of the missionaries came in.
Before independence, I can still remember the likes of Jackson Kayoa, them were mostly on the scene, Trashiama. In the late 90s, close to 2000 is where we started now listen to the Snoop Dogs and the what and all that. So they back then they say yes, it was a bad influence for the youngsters because the hip hop from back then was very, very straightforward. You tell a story. So we were hustling, struggling to try to get that hip hop in there, and then we changed it a bit. And in Namibia now, we made it a little bit. We put harmony into the whole hip hop, so that we can fit in stages. Because, like I said, it was only people like there was reggae music here, and then there was Tamara Punch.
When we talk about the Virishe Shambo music and Mataiza music, we talk post-independent. But the most booming music after independence was then reggae music.
And those type of music was here, so we didn't fit in nicely. So they told us back then, you guys are supposed to sing, you can't just come and blah, blah, blah here.
There was just an aura around that time about music, you know, there's realness and authenticism about it. I was born in Arandes, raised in Arandes, finished my school in Arandes. Went to stay with my father in Swakop. And then from there I came back to Arandes. When I got to know how to play guitars or piano, it all started in church. I guess everything starts in church, you know. Michael Jackson started in church, Tina Turner started in church. And then I met Pastor Goro at one of the crusades that we had, and then we saw the potential in me. And then the next thing is I'm in Windhoek because of him, and then that's actually how I went about to work at the studio.
Then I wasn't thinking about studio or production, you know, as he's doing currently. My part was just to enhance him, because my background is music. So I can identify talents even when he's still in raw form. So I saw that. That's how I now invited him to come to Windhoek for our youth conference. Then he stayed here. Then asked him, do you want me to help you? He said yes. So I said, okay, you go back and tell your mom to release you. So they released him, and they came over and stayed at the church. So then that's how we started to work with him.
So I went there, and I was like, whoa, the studio in the church? And I was like, also surprised, you know, we don't know these things.
But there was an engineer in the studio. So I said, okay, you will get to know this thing. And the engineer was kind of threatened with this young boy who is coming to take over from him.
He knew me. He said, oh, I know you, you know, you're the guy who worked with all these artists. And I said, yeah, I got my studio there. So he just said, I want to come and make a turn.
But I would say his kind of nature, the inquisitive nature, ready to learn, wanting to know more. He's done this, and you are saying, but this is good. He says, no, it's not good. He wants more, he wants more. Then he listens to somebody, he watches what somebody else has done.
I took him to my studio, and he checked, and he was like, okay, the guy works with others outside and stuff like that at the church. And we became friends. And he started asking me some questions, and he helped, how do you do, because at the time I'm doing Kwaito music. How do you do this music, man? I also want to do this. So I showed him a couple of stuff. I helped him. I teach him a couple of things, one or two tricks out there.
So I said to the engineer, it's not about taking over. It's about sharing and learning from each other. And you know, in any studio, you need more than one engineer. So, well, with time, Arafat, then I remember he would be kind of a little bit frustrated, wanting to work, because he started with work ethic. So he desired to do something. I said, just calm down. You will know this. You will get to a time that you will get so tired working, because there will be a lot of demand on you. And later, he excelled so much that he went beyond the engineer he met in the studio. That's how he now became the studio engineer.
Started there literally for Arafat to be Arafat today. From there is where me and Dinaf met up, and then we formed a group called Equals Mentality. And then same year we dropped the album. We also won Best Gospel at the Sanlam Music Awards. It was like very funny. It's like I just entered the industry, and the next thing is, bam, you know, we're winning. And I think with the numbers I won 5 Best Producer in a row. And then I got Best Africans, whereby I was featuring S-Man. Speaking of S-Man, that's my boy though. Songs that I've produced that has touched me. Maybe the song that we did for the president. I did an album, the Swapo album, Once Upon a Time. I think that was like 3 years ago. And there was this particular song we did whereby we were like calling out to Hamba, Nyoma, and Hage. Like, basically the song was more like, do our presidents and our leaders even take a moment to work a little bit in the ghettos to see what's happening?
Arafat's work ethic. Yes! Arafat is a beast, my nigga. Arafat is a Namibian Timbo. If you know what I'm talking about Timbaland. I know how to put the percussions with the necessary strings and those kafani drums and infusing the African type of vibe.
It sucks. It's bad. Bad work ethics. When it comes to me, I don't know how it works with other with other artists, but with me and him, it's actually more of a work-play relationship. I think it works for us. I think when we're in our zone like that, we're more creative that way, and we don't look at it as work. We look at it as we're having fun in the studio, and we're also being creative at the same time. So, on a professional setting, it's actually a bit unprofessional.
Arafat is kind, caring, arrogant. He's not selfish. He's discipline orientated. If we have to meet at 2, let's meet at 2. But then he has a problem. If he has to finish a song in a day, you'll miss your schedule for 3-4 days. So I don't know how he balances those two, but yeah.
Our first project that I worked with Arafat was featuring a gospel artist. You could see the eager and hungerness in him that no, this guy really wants to make the best. He wants the best out of you as an artist.
I can never make it bounce.
Okay, nah, it's nice. But the problem is you're too aggressive.
Back then, Arafat was arrogant. You come there with your ideas and say, I want it that way. I want it to be this way. I know why I'm saying this. Yeah. And now the new Arafat, surprisingly, this guy is now soft and calm. Yeah, but the arrogance is also a bit there. It's just that it's limited.
The challenge is that we don't have so many of our artists that have their music beyond borders.
We just lack the exposure.
Another challenge is the industry being saturated with a lot of mediocre talent.
Then everybody's just, yup, da.
You know, like you really have to like go through a lot of trash before you get that one dime out there. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah, you really have to go through a lot. They say you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get your prince. That's what we go through.
Because Namibian people, they take anything. If tomorrow I go in the studio and I come, that's music. And that's not music. That's why anybody thinks that you can be a musician is because of commercial development.
For me, music, I wouldn't say we are there if you just maybe win awards, either local or abroad, that are based on people voting, you know, because they send SMSs. You don't know musicians that way.
I've realized that even when it comes to your genre of Namas Awards, only competition, we are really confused people.
We lost it because of the South African influence. Along the way right now, as things are going, right now I'm hearing all the Namibians trying to sound Nigerian. And it hurts to see that my people, they are just stuck into foreign sounds and forgetting that we got the San people sound, we got the Tswana people sounds, we got the Himba people sounds.
We should be careful because the direction we are headed to, we will not have an identity. Because what we are doing is what South Africans are doing, what the Nigerians are doing.
Almost every second upcoming artist right now wants to be Davido or Wizkid or wants to be Kiss Daniel. And I don't know why the nigga is calling himself Kiss Daniel. We don't know who's being kissed, but tomorrow you'll be hearing Kiss Titus and Kiss Simon and Kiss Philemon.
When computerized music came, people became lazy.
And then we need to fast and pray very hard about it because it's really, really that bad, you know?
I must commend the Generation Z because they're really out there. They're doing what we couldn't do back in our days. I think also it's the fact that there's social media and they're exposed to a lot of resources as opposed to us back then when we didn't have the type of resources that they're receiving right now. There is a lot of growth in terms of creativity. Fans, I'd say it's still more or less the same. There's still a lot that has to be done in terms of building fan base. But I would say in general, there is a big improvement. Even if you listen to what the OGs are releasing now and what they were releasing back then, you can really see they have taken time to improve their sound.
The future is obviously the new guys that are coming up. I think they've got the new sound, the right sound which can compete internationally. I think that is where Namibia needs to go as far as music goes. We need to arrive where everybody is. We've been on the setback for a very long time. But if you look at music today, what the new guys are doing is absolutely everything right. The only thing that we need to do is just support them, welcome them in the industry, and hope for the best.
I'm too hot, November, December can summer me. Arafat, Egypt, when the moon still can cover me. I'm ginger ready, never keep me waiting, man. Running there in the balcony. I've been hotter than a soup cup. You will lose mouth, got it. Seen a shoe box and I still won't give two.
I think it's growing, but then again, it's a little bit tedious because there are bigger dogs in the industry and the young and up-and-coming ones keep on following the same style, genre of music, so that way it's limited, doesn't really explore its full talent because now everyone is trying to be safe and in the same line. But there is definitely talent, it's just like it's too much of a role model thing, so no one gets to see the originality of Namibian people themselves because everyone is trying to copy the next person.
Everybody knows been a long time coming, still in the race like
Love to inject confidence into Namibians to say, take pride into who you are and in your own identity, that you're a Namibian. Try to research your Namibian sound. Try to go back into your roots and make that commercial. It will work. I mean, that's the same thing that South Africans did. That's the same thing the Angolans did. That's the same thing that Nigerians right now is doing it. And it's conquering and it's winning the world, you understand? I'm just wondering that where are we if we are trying to fit in, you know? The problem with Namibians, we try to fit in, and that's my prayer is perhaps maybe one day to have an opportunity where I can speak to a whole mess of young people, where I can tell them that, guys, look, let's not try to fit in, let's stand out. And that is just a matter of choice.
I think Namibian music is a little primitive and a little premature. I mean, it has a lot of talent and there's a lot of originality to it that's really great country-wise, but I think if we just refine it a little bit, it could be at like international level.
I feel like it's taking so long to be recognized as a musical industry at large. The Namibian artists are not taking themselves serious as artists, but they expect the nation to take them serious. And there are those ones that they just wake up one morning and, hey, I want to release this.
Thank God we've got schools like College of the Arts, you know, so they're there to enhance, to train people. If people can just allow that to happen, there is a future because it's not where it was before. There's obviously a change and there is improvement, but then it can be better and it can be faster.
But if you want to see a future of this country, then they must sit back and then start to realize what is Namibian genre, and let's focus on that one first. And so let's build that genre in competition so that we can become international competition. We must make that competition with international countries by having our own rhythm. You understand? So in that way, I think then is when we say we have changed a bit. That now we are bringing in a new market, Namibian market music awards. So that we focus that if you play Overishe, we want to see 10 Overishe groups. You play reggae, this is the ones. Namibian Kwaito, this is the one. Shambo, all those. That we're focusing that now we want to see the brand of Namibia. As I said, we don't still have a brand.
The true realization of where they are at, you will not aspire to go higher if you believe where you are is the ceiling.
It's a lot. The fact that there's no unity, it hurts. You know, when you look at South African industry, they are united. When you look at Angolan industry, they are united. But when it comes to Namibia, it's like we hate each other, and yet we're just a 2 million population. It just does not make sense, and the whole tribalism thing is suffocating us. It's not. We are not destroying only one tribe. We are destroying us. The moment a Vambo hates on a Hero, he is hating on Namibia. When the moment a Hero hates on a Damara, he's destroying Namibia. At the end of the day, you're destroying the whole nation. We're supposed to unite, learn from each other, experience from each other, and then grow, and then take Namibian music to the next level.
Everybody knows been a long time coming. Still in the race like an athlete running. Still off the beat of the bars when I'm rapping. Proud to be African, who says what? Everybody knows I be J to the tours. I meant to be #1, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm not trying to be the bigger man. God gave me talent for me to be the better man. Y'all niggas don't understand. Arafat ghetto shout with the best man. I got dreams making plans for the future man. Lindley still stands as my right hand.